I recognize the member for Scarborough-Guildwood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's always a pleasure for me to rise in this House on behalf of my constituents in Scarborough-Guildwood to speak to the proceedings in this legislature. And, you know, as I'm listening to this motion, the government motion, I'm wondering what is the rush, Madam Speaker. I'm wondering, does the government believe that it has all of the answers? Do you not want to hear the other side? Do you not want to hear the advice that is coming from our constituents in our communities that might have a different perspective? But, you know, by the haste in which this bill, a very important bill, is being rushed through the legislature, it tells me that the government is loath to hear the other side, that it does not want to have any meaningful and real debate. You know, Madam Speaker, we are 2/3 of the way through this fiscal year, yet funds are still not allocated to programs, much less spent. This government is still holding $13.2 billion in contingencies and reserves, instead of allocating to needed programs that are so desperately needed. The government has repeated their line about not spending all of the funds before the year is up. But what are they waiting for? Those funds are needed now. With more than 1,000 new cases in our province every day, breaking records over the last 2 weeks, with the hospitalization and the ICU rates rising, being very, very close.
Stop the clock. Sorry to interrupt the member. I recognize the Government House Leader on a point of order.
And I apologize to the member. Madam Speaker, we've just been informed of the on-duty death of an OPP officer and would seek the unanimous consent to lower the flags to half-staff.
The Government House Leader is seeking unanimous consent to lower the flags to half-mast. Do we have agreement? Agreed. I return to the member from Scarborough-Guildwood to continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and a very important interruption of the proceedings here. You know, those first responders and who put themselves in harm's way, they deserve our protection. And our respects and our thoughts go to the families and to the individuals that are impacted with the loss of that OPP officer, Madam Speaker. It's a tragic news today. Madam Speaker, with more than 1,000 cases each day, with our hospitals being overwhelmed, just this week we heard from the Minister of Health that hospitals are at 100% and more capacity. With ICU rates rising, they're almost at capacity right now, and with mounting deaths in our long-term care homes, now is the time that the government needs to invest. And the budget shows that 5.2, actually 5.3 if you round it up, $billion in health contingencies is just sitting there, and that $2.6 billion is remaining in that balance. It shows $3 billion in regular contingency funds and $2.5 billion in reserves. Yet this budget has no plan to intervene and to spend these dollars where they are needed the most. Has the government simply just lined the budget so that they can perhaps come out ahead when they give an update? I don't know. But I just know that the programs and the priorities that I am hearing from constituents and others across the province need urgent action, and they need it now. What's shocking is that there is no funding attached to the promise of implementing 4 hours of care for long-term care residents, and no plan in sight to get there. Effectively, this government has broken its promise to families and residents and to staff of long-term care, because they must languish until next year before they see any new spending in this area. There are no income supports for what could be a very difficult winter for workers and those who are most impacted by the pandemic. And, you know, Madam Speaker, my concern is how this is going to affect us in the long term, because delay matters. It matters in terms of how quickly we handle the issues in the pandemic, how quickly we recover and move forward. Statistics Canada's Labour Force Survey over the past month has consistently shown that women, Black, Indigenous, and Ontarians of colour are the hardest hit by the COVID-19 recession. And recovery, while they were the hardest hit, recovery for these groups have been slower when it comes to the levels of unemployment getting back to pre-pandemic levels. I've been ringing the alarm bells since the spring that the Premier needs to bring forward a plan for the full recovery of these groups into the economic recovery. And without this action, there has been little movement for Ontarians on the margins. They are the ones that are languishing. After months of shutdown and restriction, those who have lost their livelihoods need a plan that will get them back into the workforce and back to business, a plan that includes investments in our education system. And I recognize that in the bill there was some investment into micro-credentials, and I think that that is a good thing. It just simply does not go far enough, Madam Speaker. The chaos created by a failed back-to-school implementation has taken its toll. And, you know, I know that we just recognized the on-duty loss of our OPP officer, and that is a tragedy. But I also felt that tragedy yesterday when I heard about a child and youth worker in the Toronto Catholic District School Board who has died due to COVID-19. Because I know the relationship that those child and youth workers have to their students, to the school community. They are beloved by their school community. They work tirelessly to help and to support students, particularly those that are vulnerable. And so any loss due to this pandemic is one too many. And we should be doing everything that we can to accelerate our response and to coordinate what is needed. And so the priorities in this budget tell us the seriousness in which the government takes this pandemic. And you know, giving parents and families $200 per child and $250 for children with disabilities up to the age of 21, perhaps that will provide some relief, but is that what is really required? Is that what is really enough? When parents and educators were asking for reduced class sizes, bringing class sizes down, capping them at 15, to allow safe physical distancing in schools, to allow less interruption in schools. And, you know, I do listen to the minister. He says, well, the majority of schools have no COVID. But what about those in hotspot communities, like in my riding of Scarborough-Guildwood and across Scarborough, where we have so many schools that are in outbreak, that are being disrupted, classes that are being sent home to go and learn virtually, where devices might not be available or connectivity. And that disruption is affecting the learning of students. And so, Madam Speaker, in the very little time that I have, and in fact, I will just conclude by saying that the budget is a betrayal to those parents and families in Ontario that expect better from this government. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Further debate?